Never explain yourself. It signals weakness. Why powerful people don't need constant validation. Most people think explaining themselves makes them look honest, polite, and mature. But in reality, constantly defending your choices often reveals insecurity, fear, and emotional dependence on other people's approval. Powerful people understand a simple truth. Not everyone deserves an explanation. The more you try to make everyone understand you, the more control you give them over your emotions. Confident people don't feel the need to justify every decision, defend every boundary, or correct every misunderstanding. They trust themselves. In this video, we'll talk about why over-explaining weakens your image, why silence creates respect, and how emotionally strong people communicate with calmness instead of desperation. 1. Over-explaining is usually rooted in insecurity. People who constantly explain themselves are often trying to avoid rejection or criticism. They fear being misunderstood, so they keep talking in hopes that everyone will approve of their decision. But confidence does not beg for acceptance. When someone is secure within themselves, they understand that disagreement is normal. They don't panic when others question them. Over-explaining sends a hidden message that says, "Please understand me. Please approve of me." And people subconsciously sense that insecurity. The strongest individuals make decisions calmly and stand by them without needing endless validation from everyone around them too. The more you defend yourself, the more doubt you create. There's a psychological rule in communication. The more defensive you sound, the guiltier or weaker you appear. Even when you are completely right, excessive explanations can make people question your confidence. Imagine two people saying no. One says, "I'm not available." The other gives a 5-minute explanation filled with nervous details and repeated apologies. Which one sounds more confident? Usually the person who speaks simply and directly. Powerful communication is clear, calm, and controlled. Weak communication is emotional, lengthy, and desperate for approval. 3. You can't control how everyone sees you. One of the biggest reasons people over-explain is because they are trying to control other people's opinions. They believe if they explain themselves perfectly, nobody will misunderstand them. But that's impossible. No matter how carefully you explain your intentions, some people will still judge you unfairly. Some people simply choose misunderstanding because it benefits them emotionally. Confident people accept this reality. They understand that not everyone needs to agree with them. Once you stop trying to manage every opinion, you gain emotional freedom and inner peace. 4. Silence is a form of power. Silence makes people curious. It creates presence, mystery, and emotional strength. People who constantly talk and explain themselves often lose impact because their words become emotionally driven. But calm individuals who speak less usually command more respect. Why? Because silence shows self-control. It shows you are not desperate to convince everyone. Strong people know that not every situation requires a reaction. Sometimes silence protects your dignity better than a long explanation ever could. Learning to stay calm without defending yourself is a sign of emotional maturity. 5. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. Many people feel guilty for keeping their decisions private. They think they owe everyone a detailed explanation for every action they take. But emotionally intelligent people understand the importance of boundaries. Your personal life, your struggles, your decisions, and your emotions are not public property. Some people genuinely care about you, but others simply want information so they can judge, gossip, or manipulate. The less you reveal unnecessarily, the more control you maintain over your own peace and emotional energy. 6. Over-explaining makes you emotionally vulnerable. When you constantly explain yourself, you expose your emotional need for acceptance. Manipulative people notice this quickly. They realize you are uncomfortable with disapproval, and they may use guilt, pressure, or criticism to control your behavior. Strong people don't allow endless debates about their boundaries. They communicate clearly and move on. They understand that emotionally mature individuals respect boundaries without demanding detailed justifications. The less emotionally reactive you become, the harder it is for others to manipulate you. 7. Confidence means being comfortable with misunderstanding. One of the hardest things for emotionally sensitive people is accepting that they will sometimes be misunderstood. They feel a strong urge to correct every false assumption and defend every choice. But truly confident people understand that misunderstanding is part of life. They do not waste energy trying to fix every opinion. Instead, they stay focused on their values and goals. Emotional strength is not about forcing people to understand you. It's about remaining calm even when they don't. 8. Short responses carry more strength. Confident people often speak in short, direct sentences because they trust themselves. They don't feel pressured to over-explain. Simple statements like, "That doesn't work for me. I've already decided," or "No, thank you," are enough. Weak people fear silence, so they fill every conversation with unnecessary details. Strong people are comfortable allowing silence to exist. This calmness creates authority because it shows emotional stability. The less you try to convince people, the more powerful your presence becomes. 9. Stop seeking permission to be yourself. Many people over-explain because they unconsciously seek permission to live the way they want. They want reassurance that their choices are acceptable. But confidence begins when you stop needing approval for your boundaries, goals, and lifestyle. You do not need everyone to agree with your decisions for them to be valid. Strong individuals trust their own judgment. They listen to advice when necessary, but they don't build their identity around other people's opinions. The moment you stop asking for permission to be yourself, your confidence changes completely. 10. Your energy matters more than winning arguments. Trying to explain yourself to everyone becomes emotionally exhausting. You replay conversations in your head, worry about being misunderstood, and constantly seek ways to make people accept your perspective. Over time, this drains your mental energy and damages your peace. Strong people protect their energy carefully. They understand that not every argument deserves attention. Not every accusation deserves defense. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is walk away without explaining yourself at all. Peace is more valuable than a PPROVAL. 11. Real confidence speaks through actions. Weak people constantly talk about who they are because they need validation. Strong people let their actions speak for them. You do not need to endlessly explain your value when your consistency, discipline, and behavior already reflect it. People eventually believe what they repeatedly see, not what they repeatedly hear. Real confidence is quiet. It does not beg for attention or understanding. It simply exists. And that quiet certainty often commands more respect than endless words ever could. True strength needs no constant defense at the end of the day. Over-explaining is usually an emotional habit built on fear. Fear of rejection, judgment, conflict, or misunderstanding. But powerful people understand something important. You cannot control how everyone sees you, and you don't need to. Real confidence comes from self-trust. It comes from knowing your decisions are valid even when others disagree. The less you seek approval, the stronger your presence becomes. So stop defending every choice. Stop explaining every boundary. Stop trying to convince everyone to understand you. Because the moment you become comfortable with silence, you become emotionally powerful in a way most people never achieve.